You are now listening to a true horror story. Uncover hidden truths, ancient legends, and unexplained mysteries, where the unknown begins and reality bends from beyond truth. Dim the lights, put on your headphones, and don't look behind you, because what you're about to hear might just be real.
The Smurl haunting, a true American nightmare. In the quiet blue-collar town of West Pittston, Pennsylvania, nestled between coal-mining valleys and winding rivers, the Smurl family believed they had finally found peace in a modest duplex at 328 Chase Street after a devastating flood in 1972 forced them from their home. Jack and Janet Smurl wanted a fresh start, a place to raise their daughters in safety and normalcy, a second chance at building a stable life. But the house had other plans. At first, the signs were subtle. Pipes would burst without warning. Appliances, short-circuited radios turned on by themselves, often playing the same eerie tune over and over without explanation. Strange cold spots lingered in the kitchen, and living room like invisible wounds in the air. But the Smurls shrugged it off. Maybe bad wiring, maybe old plumbing, maybe stress from the trauma they had survived. Then came the noises, deep dragging across the floors like furniture being moved, when no one was home, pounding from inside the walls, scratches from within the ceiling, footsteps upstairs, when the entire family sat downstairs together. Even their loyal dog Harry refused to go into certain rooms, instead growling at empty corners with his fur raised and tail stiff. Their daughters began seeing shadowy figures pass through mirrors and doorways. Doors would open and slam on their own, and sometimes the entire house would shake like a localized earthquake. Jack began hearing his name whispered late at night, over and over in a low, breathless voice. And one night, as Janet was folding laundry in their bedroom, a tall black figure appeared behind her, silent and still, until she turned and it vanished through the wall. Soon things escalated from frightening to dangerous. Janet was physically thrown from the bed while sleeping. Dawn, the oldest daughter, claimed something invisible, would yank the blankets off her at night. Sometimes cold fingers would wrap around her ankles, pulling with such force she would scream until bruises appeared on her legs. Jack eventually admitted to being sexually assaulted by an unseen entity, which left him both ashamed and terrified. And soon Janet experienced the same violation. The family tried everything. They contacted the church, and a local priest came to bless the house, but the activity only worsened. Religious objects were tossed from shelves, crucifixes shattered in the air, and a thick stench of sulfur would pour through the vents every night, choking the halls. Desperate, the Smurls turned to Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famed paranormal investigators known for the Amityville and Perron family cases. Lorraine claimed the house was infested, not just haunted, that multiple spirits resided there, including a violent demonic presence and a deceptive entity that took on the forms of dead relatives to manipulate the family. The Warrens conducted investigations, recorded EVPs, and even brought in a team to perform an exorcism, but nothing worked. In fact, the attacks only grew more vicious. The walls bled with black sludge, drawers opened and slammed shut in rhythmic patterns. Objects floated through the air only to shatter mid-flight, and on more than one occasion the family find new deep claw marks gouged into the walls, sometimes even across their own skin. Neighbors began to whisper stories of screams echoing through the block of lights flashing wildly from the Smurl home. In the middle of the night, the local media picked up the story, and West Pittston became the epicenter of a paranormal circus. Believers camped outside, hoping to catch a glimpse. Skeptics came to mock and debunk, but nearly all who entered the house reported feeling an oppressive force, a kind of spiritual suffocation that pressed against their chest the moment they stepped through the door. One priest who attempted a cleansing ritual collapsed mid-prayer and refused to ever return. Eventually, overwhelmed and unable to take it any longer, the Smurls left the home, hoping to escape the torment. And while the new home seemed calmer, the trauma followed them in nightmares, in sudden voices, in unexplained bruises that appeared. Overnight, they rarely spoke publicly about their experience, again fearing ridicule and backlash, yet they always insisted what happened to them was real. Investigators and skeptics have long debated the Smurl haunting, some claiming it was a hoax fueled by stress, hallucinations, or even undiagnosed psychological illness. Others believe the family truly lived through a rare and terrifying case of spiritual oppression, possibly one of the most intense domestic hauntings ever recorded in the United States. But if it wasn't a hoax, if even part of it was true, then something ancient, something cruel made its home on that quiet Pennsylvania street, something that preyed on fear and faith alike, something that might still be waiting in the dark corners of another home for the next family, brave or unfortunate enough to cross its path.